Hi, everybody. Welcome to Queers and Soaps. I'm Tommy, and today I'm joined by my lovely co-host, Angel.
Hello.
We are back with Guiding Light, 1995. We're discussing 3 episodes that aired from March 23rd to March 27th, 1995. So I'll roll the credits and we'll get right into it. So the vibe of these episodes felt different to me. Did you
They
catch on to
did.
that? I don't know what it
Yeah.
was. I don't know if it was the way it was shot or the dialogue. A lot of the scenes seemed to be like a one shot, but there was multiple people in it, and we just kind of panned from one like group of people to the next.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like that's new.
I wonder. See, that's the thing, because there were no credit. Well, actually, there were credits in one of them, but they all got like jumbled.
Mhm.
So, so I was like, I wonder if we got a. I wonder if either the writer who started earlier in the year is settling now, or
Yeah.
if we got a new EP, or if this is
We
when Jill Farron Phelps left.
we finally got to see the new Eleni again after that one episode we got of her like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, and they didn't make an announcement, so
They
we're
did.
just expected to know who she is by dialogue.
um Alan Michael came to the diner to return Lucy's scarf. I think that she left. It was her scarf, right?
Yeah, it was a scarf.
And she like is hiding from him because she doesn't want to deal with him after the scene he made about her and Brett.
Mm-hmm.
But she's kind of eavesdropping on his conversation with who is he talking to?
He's talking to Eleni, I think.
Eleni, yeah, right. See, I don't even remember who she is because you're
Exactly. That's why we need that third announcement, so that we know who this,
right.
this character is and who the actress is.
It's funny because even in those scenes, I felt like Frank and Eleni were almost like glorified extras because they were like there and like working at the diner, but like they really didn't have a story.
They were like that this week. Like,
Yeah.
even when he was talking with Blake a little later.
But I miss that. I miss when it just felt like it was a town and people were just like going about their lives.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have the budget to do that, to pay people to just like do everyday things in the background. But I liked it. It kind of like added to the scene. Nadine's really nervous about, I want to say his name wasn't Cooper, right? Something with a C. The guy that she's been dating.
I forgot. Yeah, I forgot his name. I always forget his name.
It's something with a C, and I was like, I'm gonna remember it. Lost it. It's gone.
It's gone. Bye.
And now every time I see Nadine, knowing what I know because I've read too much, I'm just like, oh, Nadine. I'm like, I'm not ready for you to go.
Your days are numbered.
I don't know when it happens, but I'm really scared. What else happened? Oh, so a woman, was it a woman? I was kind of like in and out of it watching the first episode. What's his name? Fletcher is visited by someone who says that Ben's mother wants full custody.
Grandmother.
Oh, grandmother.
Grandmother. Yeah, it was a lawyer who visited them.
But I thought it was for the mother.
The mom is dead. First of all, so I believe, yeah. If I'm remembering my history correctly, and I do have to get the Guiding Light book, but right now I have Soap Central to kind of help me out with this, and the viewers, if you want to chime in. I remember the mom. I remember hearing the mom died, and that's why Fletcher. But I don't even think that Ben is really Fletcher's. It's weird. It's weird. I remember it's something that like he's adopted in.
Oh.
But he's really like a Stoddard and not a Reed. It's weird.
Oh, I didn't know that he wasn't his biological son.
Yeah, technically he is, and I think he's just adopted. Like Michelle. Michelle's a Bauer, but Maureen's not her mom. It's Claire Ramsey.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Yeah, so because I didn't know that until like I was watching the show, and then she was played by Susan Pratt, if you remember her from All My Children. I don't know if you watched All My Children.
No, I'm not really.
Oh, that's right. That's right. We had that. So
I know what like the SoapNet promo showed me. I wasn't really into All My Children.
So I think Ben is not technically a Reed. I think he's a Reed by adoption, and his mom and Fletcher were an item in the 80s, and then that's how Ben was. And then Ben was from oh my gosh, he wasn't from Larkin Malloy's character, was he? I don't think so. I remember there's something with Larkin Malloy's character in the 80s.
You know lot about the 80s. Did you watch it or did you like read up on it?
I read up on it because like one of my favorite opening credits is My Guiding Light, which is the opening in the 80s. Okay. And I was like, who are these people? I want to know who these people are. Okay. So Larkin Malloy's character, his name was, I forgot it now. He was with Reva for some time when okay. I think Robert Newman was off the show for a time.
I'm just noticing the way that you talk about it. It's almost like you watched it, and I'm just like, wow, she knows a lot about this.
I may have watched an episode or two,
or two
on YouTube. And I was like, I'm reading up on it, and it's from like Soap Opera Central. So
I get it. I did the same thing with these. But back to Guiding Light.
Which we were
so allegedly his grandmother wants full custody of Ben. Mm-hmm. But she's in a different country. I don't remember what country it was.
Portugal,
yes, thank you. So Fletcher's not gonna let this happen, so he's going to Portugal to stop this. I guess we could jump around. We find out later that this is Roger's doing and it's probably not real.
Well, we found out earlier that it was Roger's doing because he was with the lawyer in the beginning, but we didn't know that. Yeah, so he was So Roger was talking to the lawyer, and that's how she got to Fletcher's house.
Okay.
And then later,
I must have not been paying attention. Sorry, guys.
We did find out what it was Roger's doing for Fletcher to go to Portugal. So.
Oh, see, I feel like when it clicked for me was when he was in the steam room with that other guy who I don't know who that was. I don't know if he was just a random day player.
Over 5.
Yeah.
It's like that time he was in you know how he was chopping the thing and he seemed to have like these
weird
sidekicks. I didn't know that about Roger.
So Vanessa and Dinah have it out about her trust fund. Dinah's not happy about, the restrictions on it. And she kind of, I don't know, blows it, so to speak, by being so emotional, having such an emotional reaction. I did so we had Matt in the shower singing, and Bridget, his sister, is just like, hey, shut up, you can't sing or whatever. And she's like, I brought you a fresh towel. And then Dinah comes walking in and he thinks it's Bridget. And she's like, I'm not your sister. So he asks her to hand the towel. Or no, he's like, I'm taking a shower. Can I have some privacy? And she's like, I'll wait. And she just sits on the toilet and lights a cigarette. I like this scene. It was actually really funny.
Yeah, I like that.
So then he peeks his head and he's like, can you hand me the towel? And she doesn't. I guess she feels as an opportunity to trap him and have a conversation. Mm-hmm. And he just naked comes out of the shower and gets it himself and walks by. And I caught her peeking. She looked at his butt when he walked by. Yeah.
I would too.
Human nature.
Yeah. I mean, look, it's Kurt McKinney. He was once Ned on General Hospital. He was the first Ned. He was the one that had the affair with, I think, Monica.
Oh wow, I want to see that now.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I gotta find out what years and then look at that.
It was the late 80s, I want to say.
Oh really?
Early 90s.
Yeah, because I know Wally came on the early 90s, 91, 92, around there.
Yeah.
Oh wow, and you know what? I could see the resemblance. I could see why they casted Wally. There's a slight resemblance. Oh wow, you just blew my mind. My soap mind. So she's accusing him of having told Vanessa about their first encounter at the diner when they first met. How she was only in town to how did she word it? Get refinancing from her parents. That's what she worded it. I really like Diana. I do.
I do too. And it helps that she looks a lot like Maeve Kincaid.
Yeah, she does. They look like they could be
it's
mother and
such
daughter.
good casting.
Yeah, I like it. So they have it out. I thought it was me. I thought maybe it was like what I was watching it on, but was that episode at some point it scrambled?
Yeah, it's scrambled.
Yeah, and I just didn't have the patience to like just listen, so I just like skipped to the next one. I was like, whatever.
I listened. I just forgot what happened. And I forgot what happened. So I don't think there was much left with Dinah and Vanessa in that episode. Mm-hmm. Other stuff I might remember because I just watched this earlier today. So
yeah, it could be why the episode was shorter on YouTube. Maybe they just cut that scrambled part out. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. I do have to say, unrelated to the show, but because I was watching the show, I caught the very beginning of one of the commercials, and it was like, "I'm 36. I'm tired of 18-year-olds telling me that I should start a wrinkle cream." And I'm like, "I'm 39. I feel personally attacked." I was like, "You look older than me."
Right.
I literally screamed, "Greg!" And he was like, "What?" I was like, "This woman just said she's 36. He's like, "I'm sorry, you were attacked." I'm like, "Thank you." And I did notice, I kept catching like they were promoting the other soaps. Like I saw a Bold and the Beautiful promo, mm-hmm. which I am in. This is 1995. I'm in like September, October of 94. So I'm 6 months behind these promos, and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to get to what's going on in these promos.
Yeah, Sheila slapped the shit out of James. Oh my gosh, I miss that Sheila.
Yeah, we got that. There was I saw a YNR promo at some point, and it looked like a Bellamy rivalry, and I'm like, oh, I was like,
oh, it's relevant. I may get some flack over it because I mentioned that Lily kind of favors Jill over Mamie, but hey, look, we'll see how that happens.
So yeah, that was cool. It almost makes me want to go back and just like clip those promos and like.
Yeah, I did. So I did. There was another one where Macy got stalked. But I have no idea about that storyline, so I'm like, ooh, that looks good.
Easy. Okay. I think I know who does it.
Okay.
Just based off who was in the promo, I think I know who it is. But anyway, back to the actual show. Kind of late. So where were we? Okay, so the shower scene. Oh, so we got a little bit of Bud. Josh
and Annie.
I'm like, Josh and Annie, yeah, they were cute. He wants to like take her out to like a movie and dinner, and she's like finishing a 14-hour shift, so her feet are killing her. She's exhausted. This is kind of intertwined with Fletch. Buzz, I'm getting everybody's names mixed up. Buzz, he was so erratic in these episodes. He cut himself in the kitchen, and then there was like Tangy brought him to the hospital, and I was like, wait a minute. I was like, were they chem testing to give it like one more shot at Tangy before she gets written off?
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking too.
And then Josh even mentioned, he's like, is there something? She's like, no. I'm like, where are we? Because that's what it felt like to me. Like it was just what I was picking up. Because I actually didn't mind Tangy.
I didn't mind her either.
I don't mind her actually from what we've seen.
Yeah, from these episodes, but I'm wondering like if like I forgot. I think she came in 92 or 93. I'm wondering if like since they were trying to make fetch happen with her. Mm-hmm. I wonder if and she's like kind of at the end of her run. I wonder if we had watched earlier, we'd be like, shut up, Tangy.
We didn't see is it Brett or Brent?
Brett.
We didn't see him in these 3 episodes. But Alan, Michael, and Lucy do have dinner together. Mm-hmm. And she's kind of like, what's your problem? She's like, why are you so mad? She's like, whatever we had is like in the past. Mm-hmm. I almost wonder if they're going to get together at the end of the Brett story. Like if this is just like leading up to that.
So everything to me leads to that 1995 Christmas episode.
Okay.
So I think at that point, Rick Hurst is not not Brad. Well, Mal and Michael anymore. So
oh, really?
It's Michael Dietz, actually from Port Charles. So there's a Port Charles connection. From he was the first Joe, but he wouldn't have been in the episodes we watched.
He's cute. I like him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always wonder that because I've seen the Port Charles pilot a few times, and every time like I see the first Joe, I'm like, oh, I wonder why he left. He's cute. Not that it has anything to do with why somebody takes a job.
I think I know the reason, but like I don't want to say it because I'm not 100% sure. I wonder if like the actor just left and.
Oh wait, we're about playing Port Charles. So he was on Guiding Light first, and then he went to Port Charles.
Yeah, because Port Charles premiered in '97.
Yeah, I just realized that. I just clicked. Oh, so he left Guiding Light and then went over to ABC.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Because because '97 would have been when I started watching Guiding Light.
Mm-hmm.
So and he wasn't on there when I was watching, but Port Charles was on when I was watching. So
right. So Roger has this plan for Holly. He's going to say that he's not coming to Blake's birthday party, so that she'll get all emotional and insist that he comes. And that'll give him and Holly time alone with Fletcher out of town.
Oh, Raj.
And I like that Holly was just like, he's up to something. Like,
yeah.
She knew. The minute she found out Fletcher was out of town, she was like, this is Roger.
This is Roger.
I was like, I love that. And that's because she's been putting up with his bullshit for decades.
For decades, yeah.
Nope. I did like the scene at the diner where she sat down with Ben and Bill. Yeah. That was cute.
Yeah.
Ben was like, you ruined everything ever since she walked in on the ice fishing.
And I like that Ben like kind of called her bluff, and then Bill actually nearly spilled his drink.
And he's like, he doesn't love you. And she was just like, it's complicated. But she was annoyed. She's like, I quit the paper, which I forgot. But she's like, I quit so that he could be there, and now he's out of the country. So we have this random woman at Lewis Oil in the lobby, and nobody knows who she is. They think she's just like a temp.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like sitting at the front desk answering. Well, she didn't answer the phone, but she was like, she helped with like a pile of like files.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name? Vanessa is like swamped because she can't read. I couldn't tell if she couldn't read Josh's handwriting or she couldn't read whoever she needed to talk to's handwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like on the phone on hold. Matt comes to see her, and then Diana walks in and little bitch.
Walks right past the secretary.
Of course she leads with Matt didn't tell you that I saw him naked last night. Not with that we met at the diner before I showed you that I was home. So she's already putting that seed of doubt in her mom's head before he could tell her what happened. So I was just like, didn't even mention beginning of the very first episode, Dinah was on the phone with somebody, basically being like, yeah, like I'm doing everything you taught me, like as far as like manipulating people. Like, who is she talking to?
And that was when Blake was bugging the phone.
Oh, right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's how we ended last time because Blake was like, oh my God.
Yeah, oh my God. And then that's when she found out that Roger was talking to Dinah.
Right.
But we didn't know that in the last episode. We just, I assumed it was Roger because that reaction.
Yeah, we were like, she would have to know who it was, like his voice. Yeah. Oh, I love it. I like whoever's writing this. I like it.
Thank you, Douglas Anderson.
Do you know if he went on to other soaps?
See, the name doesn't ring a bell for me for other soaps. So I'm wondering if this is his only gig on daytime.
I'll have to look it up. Maybe he did like script writing for other soaps.
Maybe he did plays. Maybe he's a playwriter. Sometimes they get playwriters from, because it's New York. So Guideline was in New York. So they get playwriters to write the soaps or be a part of the writing team. So that way,
Oh, that's cool.
It could be more. I think No, I don't think Marlon was one. Douglas Marlon was one, but I know. Oh, Harding Pete LeMay was one. Yep, Harding Pete LeMay, who was on Another World, was a playwright. Yep,
I didn't know that.
Yep. And he has his book. He has a book, 8 Years in Another World.
Oh, he wrote that. I know that.
He wrote that. Okay. Yeah, which I still need to read. I know it's been years. I need to read it.
So something I thought about with Eleni, how we left with the original. Well, the one, was she the original?
She was the original, yeah.
Right, with the original, Christos was like, it's not over, and I felt like that storyline wasn't over, but because it probably hasn't been that long because we're not doing full weeks really, but it feels like it's been a long time, and I'm like, is this storyline dropped? So are we not gonna are we gonna circle back to it?
Yeah, so I wonder. Can we get back to it, please?
I'm like, because I kind of want to know what he's gonna do.
It's not over. Okay, recast Eleni. Have her do nothing.
Yeah. And am I making this up? Didn't you say there's like another recast after this one? Or no?
No, there isn't.
There isn't?
Yeah.
Okay.
But they did recast Marina, but that was when they saw her as her, so.
Right.
But that's not for another several years.
Oh, okay. So who else? Oh, so yeah, the lady in the office at Lewis Oil. So Mindy and I don't remember the secretary's name, go to a meeting.
Oh my gosh, I know her name, but I forgot. Oh well.
And they just assume she's a temp.
And
then
they thought her name was Sandy.
Right. And then I guess the light bulb above her desk is flickering, so Josh holds the chair while she stands up on it and either tightens it or changes it. Mm-hmm. And Vanessa kind of announces, "Oh, what's her name?" And she says Linda, I think. Mm-hmm. And she kind of announces to the family, "Oh, this is HB's girl or woman." After she's bragging about how she's going on vacation with her boyfriend that she's been with for 6 months. And how he keeps her on her toes. So you're almost thinking it's a Vanessa Matt situation, maybe she has a younger guy, but it's HB. Now, she delivers a letter to the family. Mm-hmm. This felt like the actor died.
That's what. HB. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Henry. Oh, wait, Henry is Vanessa's father. So, So.
Didn't it feel it was I'm going to be away for a while. This is a letter kind of addressing how I feel about everybody.
Yeah, I know they killed off his character in 90.
Happened behind the scene.
Yeah, I know they killed off his character in 97.
Oh, so maybe the actor died.
So I'm wondering if the actor just got sick and he couldn't really work anymore.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a while before they killed off HB. It was 97 when Reva and Josh. I mean, spoiler alert. When Reva and Josh were just getting back together, that's when they killed off HB.
Okay, yeah, that was the vibe I was getting from it. It felt like a farewell letter almost. Mm-hmm. He addresses everybody. He tells Josh to stop being a pain in the neck with stop butting heads with Vanessa. Mm-hmm. And that he thinks that him rebooting the construction will be good for him. And he tells Matt, marry that girl. So they have his blessing. He even mentions the secretary, and she's like, "Oh, HB, I love you." That's why I was like, "This feels weird." I don't know. I don't know what was going on. It just got a vibe. But rewinding back to Vanessa and Matt and their little argument. Well, it wasn't really an argument. He tells her what happened at the diner, mm-hmm. and he kind of says, I didn't want to get involved in your little back and forth with your daughter, but he's like, the few times I did try to tell you, you didn't want to hear it. And now she's like, it makes me wonder, what else you're not telling me. And I'm just like, really? We're going to make this an issue?
No.
And this is not going to help you, Dinah, get your money. Just making drama between your mother and her boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
But then the letter happened, and I feel like they made up. And Vanessa says to Josh, "Can you please stop giving me paperwork with chicken scratch on it?" Yes, just had to get that one more dig. But okay, so Josh and Annie. So I think this probably happened during the scrambled part, because the next that we see them in the last episode, Josh wakes up on the floor. He has
okay. So let me fill you in real quick. So Josh brings Annie home. That was like when they were going to go out, but then she was like, "Oh, I have a 12-hour shift, 14-hour shift, and I need to relax." They go to say goodbye, and you hear a scream. Mm-hmm. Josh comes into her house, her apartment, I think, and she said, "There's a mouse. I just saw a mouse. It was icky. It was creepy, and it was actually a really funny scene when you hear it. I wish I could have seen it." And then that goes into what you were talking about, because the cliffhanger for them was like that he decides to stay over to kind of protect her from the mouse, I guess.
I mean, that was the vibe I got, because we see them asleep, and then we see 3 mouse traps, and he's sitting there with a bat. I'm like, you're gonna kill the mouse with a bat. Like, and she has like a butterfly net. I'm like, what's happening? Also, do people just randomly have butterfly nets?
Wonder because it's the Midwest and they.
Maybe. I mean, I'm sure they exist. I'm sure people own them, but it just felt like a random item for her to have.
Yeah, right.
Especially since Josh commented about how bare bones she lives.
Mm-hmm.
But it was funny because he wakes up first, sees her on the couch, and he kind of like walks around the couch and he kisses her on the forehead, and she jumps up and screms. That scared the shit out of me. I did not expect that.
That also scared the shit
out of me. And I
literally
jumped off the couch. I was like,
because you could hear her screaming, and then the opening credits runs.
Yes, she was still screaming when the lighthouse appeared. But it was funny.
That was good. That reminded me of like there was something on As the World Turns opening in the 80s. Not when me and Eric were watching, but it was like a little later. There was a fire, and then the fire just bloosh, and then like then the opening credits started, you can still see the fire.
Oh, cool.
That was really cool. I like when they play around with the opening credits like that.
Mm-hmm. I always liked on GH when, like, before the opening credits, like how the scene, you would kind of hear the dun dun dun, like as they were like, gonna go into the credits.
Ryan like kind of does that with like
like before somebody said something dramatic and like the camera pans out, you hear like dun, dun, dun.
Well, that was a popular one in it's worldwide, but like not so much here. EastEnders does doof 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 when in the end.
Mm-hmm. I feel like YNR used to do it too, or they still do it. Yeah,
they kind of do.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah,
they kind of do. Cool. Yeah.
But even in the 90s, I remember with the Red opening from like the late 90s, early 2000s. I feel like they did it then too. I love that opening. Anyway, back to Going Late. So we also get another mention from Eve that Lillian has pushed off 3 mammogram appointments. I'm getting really nervous because they keep mentioning this. I feel like she's gonna like have a relapse with her cancer.
Yeah.
Because it's just that nobody's letting it go. It just keeps coming up. When the whole staff had like presents and stuff, I'm like, wait, didn't we already do the bridal party? Like, I was confused for a minute.
Well, I think this might be just the hospital, because remember when they did the bridal party, it was just like her friends.
Right. But this was like the actual day, because they're like eloping, right? That's what they're
doing. They're eloping. They're going to City Hall and just doing it.
So on their way out, Eve passes out.
Yes.
And I'm like, well, we know she's not pregnant because she thought she was. She found out she wasn't. So I'm like, uh-oh. And then I started thinking about, you said that you don't remember her sticking around. I'm like, she's gonna die. She's dead. I'm like, she's gonna die.
But then also, like, I have a mini issue with this, and this might be solved if a doctor decides to comment.
Okay.
She got her blood taken for pregnancy, but they didn't test for anything else.
Right.
So whatever she has,
they
probably
could run her
dreaming death or something. And dreaming death was a real disease on Guiding Light. Whatever she has, they couldn't figure that out. Like,
yeah. Maybe it's a different panel. Maybe it wasn't like a disease.
Yeah, it might be a different panel. Yeah.
Different. Huh. I wonder. Sorry, I'm just thinking. I'm like, my brain is like doing like cancer, and I'm just like bone marrow. I'm like, maybe Lillian will like have to donate her bone marrow, and I'm just like, because I don't know. Because now I'm thinking about days when Chloe had leukemia and Nancy and Craig had a baby so that she could get a bone marrow transplant.
Joy, who is still not on the show.
Right, which pisses me off.
Pisses me off too.
For like 20 years now.
20 years. We have a whole ass character that can be brought onto the show.
The character was born in 2002. She's literally 22 years old. You don't even have to sore ass her.
You don't have to sore ass her. You can just like put her in the middle of Janelle. Okay, I'm sorry, Janelle fans, but put her in the middle of Janelle. She could be either bisexual or straight. Like, it's perfect. But anyway, back to Guiding Light.
Yeah, back to Guiding Light. So yeah, so Holly goes to see Roger because Blake, has that emotional reaction. And Holly's like, oh, I'm going to skip your party. And she's like, oh, well, and she's like, how great. Both my parents won't be there.
Oh.
And she actually mentioned this with Roger, that she's like, I'm just thinking, I'm getting older. Like, I'm going to be 30 soon. And I'm like,
pushing 30.
No disrespect to the actress. I'm like, but you're 35. At least.
She was on General Hospital in the 80s, so she has to be pushing 30. I think she was Duke's sister or something. I don't know. I forgot. I knew she was a sister.
Yeah.
But by sister, I mean none.
When it comes to Roger and Holly, I feel like she tries to play it as if she's like this little girl. So, like, my mommy and daddy like aren't going to be at my birthday. And I'm not like making fun of her. It just feel like she reverts a little bit.
Yeah, because oh my gosh, I feel like her and another character, they say daddy, and mind you, this is coming from somebody whose father wasn't in their lives. But I always find a grown person calling their dad daddy to be a little bit
So when I talk, I don't call my mom mommy, but when I'm talking to my brother, I like refer to her as mommy. Like, I'm like, oh, did you talk to mommy today? But like when I'm actually talking to my mom, I'm like, mom.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever called my mom mommy. I called her mom.
Right.
By the way, happy Mother's Day, everybody.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day. I didn't forget. I'm going to see my family today after the podcast.
Oh no, my mom is here. She's at work though, but she's here. So she already has her present.
We're not children.
I'm not calling. We're celebrating Mother's Day by saying, "Do not call your mom mommy or your dad daddy."
Well, because daddy's kind of like transformed into like a sexual thing in the last couple of decades.
I may or may not know that the same thing has happened.
But back to Guiding Light.
Back to Guiding Light. They'll talk about that stuff.
So Holly goes to see Roger, and they have a conversation, and she basically is like, do you think we could like are we able to be mature adults and go to our daughter's birthday party for a few hours? And he's like, yeah, I could do that. And then he's all like, if you want to bring Fletcher, you can, knowing that Fletcher's out of town. And he's like, I might even bring somebody. I'm like,
he's gonna bring Diana. Even though she's already living there.
Right.
Oh God.
I didn't even think about that until we were just talking about it when I said Dinah, but I was just like, is he just saying that to make her jealous? To be like, oh, you're moving on.
You know how Roger the Dodger is.
Somebody said, I don't know if it was the guy in the steam room. I think it was the guy in the steam room. He was like, because Roger was like, I'm gonna use this time to make Holly remember the good times. And he was like, did you and Holly ever have good times? Did you ever have like good memories?
Also, brief to go back to the Fletcher part of it, which is related to the Roger part of it. Mm-hmm. Fletcher says primordial ooze, and that reminded me of when Roger said it in '93. What's with the show in primordial ooze?
That's a mouthful.
I feel like they give that word to like their best actors.
Right. So basically where we ended was Eve passing out, so don't know what's gonna happen there.
Yeah, like I said, I don't remember that she was a Bauer, so her days might be numbered. Oh, my watch is not on. Oh
well. Hopefully we'll see Brett, because I want a little bit more movement on that story.
Yes. You did say 2 weeks, but then that was when we had to slow things down because I picked up another show. So
yeah, and now we have poor Charles back in the mix, so
yeah,
our 2 weeks.
The slowest 2 weeks ever.
Right. But do you have anything else to add on these episodes before we wrap it up?
Well, I can't wait to see things going forward. Like I said, my whole connection to 95 is the Christmas episode. So I want to know where things are at by the time Christmas happens.
Okay.
So, who didn't we see this week? I know we didn't see. These batch of episodes.
I mean, we saw Arlene and Frank, but they didn't really have a story.
They haven't since March 1st. We didn't see
Brett.
Brett we haven't seen.
We saw Nick, but he was kind of like a side character. He was
kind of like supporting Fletcher in that storyline.
We didn't see Marge. Did you say what's
Alex. Oh, we didn't see Alan either.
Yeah, we didn't see her.
We saw Alan Michael, and we were at the Spalding Mansion.
We did see Bridget for like a split second, but we didn't see like David, Sid, Jilly.
We heard Roger was talking to Jilly on the phone, but we didn't see her.
We didn't see her. Okay.
Yeah, he was like, please don't leave. Like, please don't go to take the thing in LA. So.
Oh, that was another thing, by the way. He like strategically had pamphlets out to make it look like he was considering moving to Virginia so that Blake would see it and report back to Holly. And when Blake told her that, she was just like, yeah, okay. She's like, your father's gonna move to Virginia. Like, really?
Yeah, what's in Virginia? Like, unless he got an offer from like I don't know, what's a major city in Virginia? Richmond? Charlottesville?
I don't know Virginia.
Look, I lived in Charlottesville because of Chris Chan, so
yeah, I think he says to Holly, like, I'm just like thinking about an opportunity in Virginia or whatever. Another
you couldn't do a major O&O like Philadelphia, New York, Los Angeles. You just follow Jilly to Los Angeles.
Right.
Virginia of all places, which I don't think has a major O&O.
And from the looks of it, Roger has money, right? He's rich.
Yeah, right.
He could probably just like buy a TV station,
right? He could buy one in Virginia and make it a major O&O, which means owned and operated. So by the network. So for people who don't know, it's TV lingo. Keep up, everybody.
Keep up. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for another edition of Guiding Light. As always, you can find us on all the socials at Queers and Soaps. And until next time, have a great day. Bye. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.